All right, Charles, we talked a lot about the Detroit Lions, and let's just go south of the border from Detroit's perspective and check out Cleveland, about 2 hours away, 2.5 hours, and the Browns. Now, they have a similar story. Both teams have never been to the Super Bowl. Last time Cleveland won a championship, won 1957, but it was 1964 last time they won the NFL title. And they've had the same type of chaos, the same type of disappointment as Detroit, except their disappointment has come in the playoffs, in championship games, big moments. They have had heartbreak after heartbreak. And so, Charles, I think, after watching the latest battle of Ohio, and the Browns have done very well against the Bengals. The Bengals have been good, but against the Browns, they have, lately, they haven't looked so great. They did yesterday. Bengals win that game. But I think the latest heartbreak for the Browns, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I really feel this way. They got to think about this Deshaun Watson trade they made. They gave up so much. They put so much on the line for Deshaun Watson. And I'm not even looking at it from a moral sense.
Right.
Like,
football sense.
Football-wise, 8 quarters, Deshaun Watson, quarterback in the Browns. Those 8 quarters, he has produced 1 touchdown. That's right, 1 touchdown in 8 quarters. And he looked okay yesterday. He didn't look okay in Houston in the game that you saw. Let's start there. And I want to get to the Bengals because they deserve some love. But do you think the Browns are looking at this? I know it's only 2 games in. The Browns are looking at this and maybe wondering, what exactly did we agree to?
So here's how they're looking at it, okay? And it was interesting. I had a chance to talk to somebody in the organization leading into the Bengals game. And I thought, okay, and my preface with the conversation was like, hey, you guys got past Houston, getting Deshaun back. It's got to feel good, like you got over the hump. They actually were looking at Cincinnati and saying, Cincinnati's more kind of the one we want to get out of the way. And I was like, why? They said, well, first off, the Houston game was weird. There weren't a lot of fans there. Maybe what we thought in terms of what was directed at Deshaun, it was more going to be something that would happen in the Cincinnati game than the Houston game. He didn't feel that much heat, and it wasn't as big of a mental hurdle as really what he was going to face in Cincinnati. So they looked at Cincinnati as a really formidable game in front of them, both on the field and off the field with Watson. So I think now that they're past that, they're kind of ready to move forward. But the big thing that they were focusing on going to Cincinnati, they're like, look, what happened in Houston, we expected it. Deshaun's been off 700 plus days. He was going to be rusty. I'd seen him in practice in camp. He looked rusty. He looked a lot like what he looked like in Houston. But this person who I spoke to said, what's he going to look like now from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4? If we see him take a step from Houston and get better and play better, play closer to the guy that we know he can be in Cincinnati, we're going to be okay. I don't think they thought they were making the playoffs. They've made everything just about getting him taking these incremental steps. So he did look better. Michael, you got to admit.
Yeah.
He looked more
he did look better.
like Deshaun than in week, in his first game to his second game. To them, that's the progress they're looking for.
But there are a couple things here. One, I don't know why they wouldn't think about making the playoffs, especially in this AFC. So you win this game yesterday. If you win the game yesterday, you're right in the mix. You beat Cincinnati. So that means you swept them. You swept them for the year. That's a good thing. You banked a game in your division. You got a game in your division against a Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens team. You got the Steelers, who still may not have Kenny Pickett back when you play them.
Right.
I mean, you got a couple more division games left. You're right in the mix. I think yesterday was a devastating, just from a postseason standpoint. And why wouldn't they be thinking about the postseason? You just guaranteed the biggest contract in NFL history for Deshaun Watson. I know he hadn't played in 700 days, but you beat Cincinnati with Jacoby Brissett. Why wouldn't you think about beating Cincinnati with Deshaun Watson?
Because I think that they knew to make the playoffs. And remember, when this all started, they didn't know that Lamar Jackson was going to go down, nor that Tyler Huntley was then going to go down after Lamar did. They didn't know Kenny Pickett was going to go down. So they're not sitting there thinking, well, geez, we're playing Mitch Trubisky, maybe Tyler Huntley, maybe a third string quarterback in Baltimore. So, I'm just talking about when this started, they felt like it was probably unrealistic to run the table with a quarterback who basically hadn't played competitive football in 2 years. And so to them, it was, hey, if we make the playoffs, that's great. But realistically, what we are in this for, what we traded for, Deshaun Watson, was not just to make the playoffs in 2022. It was to get Deshaun Watson, the guy who was an all-pro caliber level player in Houston. And that really is the steps, because look, 5 years from now, if Deshaun Watson's balling out, no one's going to look back and go, well, geez, that 2022 end, they could have. All they care about is 5 years from now, he is playing, not 5 years, but really in 2023, he is playing like the player they thought they were trading for. That is what they're focused on, is getting him into a rhythm with Stefanski. And oh, by the way, looking at the surrounding offensive roster and going, who does he play well with? Like, who do we need to swap? Njoku looks like he's going to fit. Amari Cooper, no problem. Donovan Peoples-Jones, no problem. The running backs, no problem. That's part of what they're learning right now. So, look, they know those.
I guess
fans, as long as Deshaun's getting better, Michael, those Cleveland fans are going to be like, it's cool. We got our quarterback. We're good.
I know. I guess I'm just going to be aggressive here and say, I feel like they're going to regret this from a football standpoint.
They are behind.
Football-wise.
I mean,
I think they will. I think they will.
They gave him so much money. Maybe he has to be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks, right? He has to be.
And maybe that's the lesson from the 2022 offseason. We all said, hey, get this quarterback, get a quarterback, and your problem solved. And look at Denver.
So safe anymore.
Denver, and right now Cleveland 1-1 with Deshaun Watson, but it's not because the one game they won in Houston, Deshaun Watson didn't play well. Last thing I'll say about Cleveland, then I want to transition to Cincinnati. In 2020, when they made the playoffs, they beat the Steelers. It was great. I think Kevin Stefanski, even though he had COVID for that playoff game, I know he was calling it. He had his fingerprints all over it. They were such a well-run offense. They did just a wonderful job of utilizing their personnel. They were tough to defend. They were imaginative. Yesterday, I'm looking at them, and I don't know, Charles, if you saw this or if you even saw the highlight of a play. They had a 4th down play. So I did mention that they gave Deshaun Watson the biggest contract in NFL history.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're getting at. Yeah, I know the play you're talking about.
So Deshaun Watson, the quarterback, the guy with the ball, they have Deshaun Watson on the bench. 4th down play. They go in the goal line. We gonna trick y'all. Y'all think we got Jacoby in, and no, he's a big guy. You think we go run Jacoby behind the right guard or something? Oh, get ready. No. It's just a goal line look. No, Jacoby Brissett drops back. He's got an open receiver, but guess what? Yeah. It's Jacoby Brissett throwing the ball, not Deshaun Watson. And he misses him. And turnover on downs. I mean, it's just like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
What
are we doing here?
I'd be curious to know, what exactly the thought process was there, because it's not like at this stage Deshaun wouldn't know the package, right? Like he was there in the preseason and he had a couple weeks, your goal line packages. Definitely I'm not a fan of taking the $230 million quarterback off the field to see him, I mean, like that's an opportunity, right? That's like, let's see what happens here and learn something from it. I'm with you.
They spend so much time saying, hey, Jacoby just going to keep it warm for Deshaun. We can't wait till Deshaun gets back. Deshaun gets back, and you put Jacoby on the field for a 4th down play that you're trying to convert. Doesn't make any sense. But what does make a lot of sense. Go ahead.
Mike, before you move on, we've seen Frank Reich at one point threw the ball to Andrew Luck, and Andrew Luck got destroyed on the play. And it was Andrew Luck who had physical problems. We watched Josh McDaniels throw to Tom Brady at one point. It just, I mean, like, I don't know why. Every once in a while, I think people who are running offenses, they lose their minds and think, let's be creative. Like, Philly special is probably the brain bug of all time. Then again, Detroit threw to Penei Sewell, and that actually worked. So, I mean, I don't know. It was definitely not one of their best moments. That's for sure.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.